Hey everybody, this is Cannaday, and today I'm taking a look at the Frostwild Scourge expansion for Ashes. This is basically taking the Red Rains pack. You have to have this one to be able to play cooperatively in your Ashes game. And this is adding another Chimera for you to face off against, and another 4 Phoenix-born characters that you can add into a starter deck that is all about alterations. Let's take a look. All right, so Red Rain's Frostwild Scourge comes with a starter deck that you can play with, and then 4 different Phoenix-borns, which you can each individually add to this starter deck that give different aspects of stuff, which we'll look at those a little bit as well. And then it also comes with the Frostwild Scourge themselves, the new, basically the villain or the enemy that you can face off against. But yeah, let's take a closer look at all of these components and see how they work. All right, let's start with the Chimera here. This is the Frostwild Scourge, and this is, of course, you get different cards here to show the different levels. The interesting way they do this is they kind of have the standard level here. It's a Chimera standard level. This is for 1 player, so if you're playing the game solo, this shows you how many that's how many different cards you're going to be putting out each round, and then the hit points of the villain there, and then also the ultimate, how many they need for their ultimate card there. So there are 3 of those, and each of these are double-sided as well. So if you're playing with 1 player, it's this side. If you're playing with 2 players, it's this side, and it basically makes the hit points doubled there for that. This also shows you how many of the shard tokens they would need to have their ultimate go off. And then you also have the heroic level, which makes it even harder there, and they'll have even more hit points. And they'll have different difficulties for stuff. It's just look how many bad guys are going to be facing you at one time. It's just going to be rough to deal with that many villains. You can play heroic level 3 where you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this can definitely scale difficulty like a ton. So you have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different difficulties for the game. So you can play it kind of at your own pace for Ashes and give yourself as much of a challenge as you want. And you also have your behaviors here. So you have your behavior phase 1, which will show you exactly what you do. You'll be rolling your 12-sided dice for that to see whether revealing cards are attacking you. An interesting thing about this character is there's a ton of alteration spells that will happen. They'll attach these vigor and stun to a lot of the cards. So Vigor will basically give the aspect or the bad guy thing that's going to come out a +1 attack, and then when it's destroyed, you're going to reroll a basic rage die, which of course can help them boost up even stronger. And then there is a ton of stun cards, which is basically going to be exhausting characters and messing them up. A lot of status effects. This is the new thing here. You actually have a card that kind of like explains how the Chimera Conjuration pile works. These are the 2 cards that would be in that. I mean, you get a ton of those with this, so everything could be stunned or everything could have vigor on it, boosting all that stuff up. So a lot of what the Frostwild Scourge does here has to do with that. And then, of course, you have stuff where, of course, once you go up in your behaviors, you'll go to phase 2, and it'll get more difficult, and then go to phase 3. And by this point, you're probably already getting super wrecked. And, of course, it has the normal ultimates that would go off in these. Basically, once a number of Red Rains tokens are on here, he's going to wreck you in a bunch of ways, destroying your units and things like that. So you really want to take him out fast enough before he gets too many of those tokens, so that way he doesn't trigger off his ultimate. And we do want to look at his aspects as well. So he has 2 different aspects. You can either go with the Storm aspect or the Mighty aspect. I don't want to go too deep into these, but they just have different feels to them. Of course, Storm is going to have more of like different statusy type stuff and just messing you up. Bone Wind Chills and Storm Bolts. And the interesting thing about this is the attack of them. That's how much they're going to be attacking you, how much life they have, and then blood. So based off of the difficulty of the card itself, it's going to do damage to the Chimera as you take these things out. But it's really cool. I just always love the artwork in this game, and kind of like the way it all comes together as he's doing different attacks to you and having different things coming out that you have to figure out how to deal with on your turn, because if you don't, they're just going to keep attacking you over and over again. And then you have all the Mighty aspects as well. But there's lots of different effects. A lot of things here are going to have to do with like adding stun to you and adding and doing different things with the vigor and stuff like that, which is very much all the status effects that come with this guy. Very status effect heavy. And a lot of stuff, it's like, oh, remove status tokens from here, and deal 3 damage to opposing players. Phoenixborn, reroll all non-basic in their pool. There's also several ones that are kind of like messing up your pool of dice, like making them worse and worse for you, which is never something you really want to happen to you. But yeah, so lots of cool, interesting things here, which you will discover as those flip over and get revealed on you as well. So that is the Wild Scourge. Let's take a look at the Phoenixborn. So you have 4 different Phoenixborn that you can actually put different ones in the starter deck to play the game with. And it's pretty cool because you can kind of do slightly different things depending on which one you pick. Of course, you're going to have your character here. They're going to have different battlefields and spell boards and a different amount of hit points for themselves. And then they're going to have all their different actions. It looks like most all their actions on them here are minor actions this time. So for this one, this is one of the ones that I played that I really enjoyed. You place a status token on target unit control and attach a Spark Conjuration Alter spell to this unit. This has a lot to do with adding these alteration spells. Like the whole starter deck and a lot of these characters help you a lot with these different alteration spells. So Spark is the one that she has. So this one gives you +1 attack on your unit there. And then also you can discard, you can spend a main action to discard the spell to deal 1 damage to target unit. So basically allowing you to figure out ways to do that ping damage, which is really important with dealing with a bunch of the Chimera's tricks and things like that. Then she also has Stamina Boost. This is an action spell, discard. It's a minor action to do. You remove 1 wound token from your Phoenixborn and attach a Spark Conjuration spell to a unit you control. You may give the first player marker to the player of your choice, which could be really important depending on, game state. These are also all cards that you can, yes, play with the Wild Scourge stuff, but you can also play all of these cards in a regular game of Ashes as you're facing off against another player. Then we have Aerodel. This is one of the characters that's from the starter set, which is cool too to see another version of that. This has Water Blast. You can spend a leaf to deal 2 damage to target unit, which I always love because just being able to do that ping damage and not have to take much back is really, really useful. And the Frog would normally do this by itself, but this does 1 damage. This does 2 damage, which can be super helpful. I really want to play her. This is Rejuvenate. Ready a spell on your spell board. After Conjuration spell comes into play in your battlefield, place 1 status token on this spell. A lot of things are going to have to do with status tokens and adding them and removing them. Remove all status tokens from this spell to remove 1 exhaustion token from a conjuration you control with an attack value equal to or less than the number of status tokens removed. So as you play a bunch of those conjurations out, you'll be able to build this up to be able to remove status or be able to remove exhaustion tokens, allowing a creature to activate multiple turns in a round. So if you're able to combo those conjurations, you'll be able to get those guys back into play in the same round, which is going to help you, once again, deal with those terrible, annoying aspects. We have Rin here. It's Battlefield 6, hit points of 17, spell board of 4, Ice Buff. Attach Ice Buff Conjuration Alteration spell to the target unit control. What does that do? Let's look at it. +1 life. That's pretty standard, pretty simple, but he has a ton of those. You can add a ton of life to your people, and if you have stuff to regenerate your people or stuff that they heal, this is going to keep your people alive, of course, allowing them to do more attacks and more cool stuff like that. Then we have another here, Shattering Fist. Discard an alteration spell attached to a unit you control and place 3 wounds on a target unit and opponent controls. That's awesome. So this allows you to get rid of those alteration spells and be able to deal damage with it. And so it's just these different things that deal with these alteration spells, which are really cool. Then we have Koji here. This is a battlefield of 10, so he has a huge battlefield. He can have a ton of creatures out at the same time. 16 hit points, spell board of 3. Accelerated Growth. Place 1 status token on target card. So if you have a card that does stuff with status tokens, this would be great for them. Then we have Wolf Pack Leader. This is an ally he can play out. This is charge 2. When this unit comes into play, place 2 status tokens on it. Cool, so it has status tokens. Call the pack. At the start of your turn, you may remove 1 status token from this unit to place a Pack Wolf Conjuration into your battlefield. So you have an ally that can bring in conjurations themselves. What's the Wolf Pack do? Awesome, there's a Wolfpack Conjuration here. Destroy this unit at the end of the round. So it just comes out with a 1/1, basically 1 attack, 1 life creature with 0 recovery. That's going to go away at the end of the round, but this gives you something to have as fodder to either chump block or to be able to attack guys that you know it's going to kind of go away. So you have these wolves that can call people, and he can put more status counters on your wolves, so your wolves can call more people. So you basically are getting all these wolves out to spam the board with wolves, which makes sense why he has such a big battlefield. So that is the Phoenixborn. Let's take a little bit of a look at the actual deck. So this deck is all about these alteration spells. So let's start here with the Summon Adapton. I might get some of these fantasy words wrong, but hopefully stay with me a little bit. So this is a ready spell board. This is a main action, and you have to exhaust it to use. You have to use 2 leaf tokens there. So all of your characters are going to be very much using like the frog or the leaf token. I don't know the exact name of each of the dice type. Place an Adapton conjuration into your battlefield. Which, what do those look like? It's one of these guys. So I'll pull these cards out as well because they're very important for them. So these guys say Adapton battlefield, adapt. Basically, you can spend a minor action to attach a fire or ice conjuration spell to this unit if it has neither attached to it. So you just put this guy in play, and then you can spend a minor action to either put the fire one, which is going to give him +1 attack, and when attaching the spell, it deals 1 damage to target unit and opponent controls. So it does some ping damage. Or an ice one, which when attaching the spell, you place 1 exhaustion token on a unit and opponent controls with an attack value of 1 or less. So you're basically able to do damage to guys or exhaust guys, and you can either have attack or life on your character. So your little crazy Adapton dinosaur guy can either be fire or ice, which I don't know. The art and the aesthetics of this are just really cool to me. I really enjoy kind of like the way that this deck works with all the alteration spells and things like that. So you have 2 of those you can actually bring out, and then you have 2 of each of the different types on them as well, which is pretty cool. So you'll get 3 of those ready spells to bring those guys into play. And then you also have your summon Frost Frog, which just takes the actual frog icon, which is the best icon on that die. Place a Frost Frog conjuration into your battlefield, and when you do that, you bring one of these guys out. So these guys have Cold Snap. When this unit is declared as an attacker, you may add 1 to its attack value for the remainder of the turn and place an exhaustion token on target unit and opponent controls with a life value of 1 or less. So once again, freezing up bad guys, and he gets +1 attack. So these guys are very much going to be an offensive character, which is kind of funny for this cute little frog. He's going to be jumping on people, trying to get extra attack and freezing them up. Then we also have Wallop. This is an alteration spell as well, comboing with all of the different Phoenixborn that we talked about before. This gives you +2 attack. Cost a frog to actually put out, but +2 attack. That's awesome. That'll help you blast away some more of these annoying aspects. But yeah, and then we have Will to Survive, which costs a leaf. The unit has a following ability. After this unit destroys a unit an opponent controls by attacking, you may remove 1 wound token from your Phoenixborn. So this gives you 1 of each stat and allows you to heal your Phoenixborn. These are great. Those are awesome. And then Red Flower here. This says remove all tokens from target unit you control with 1 or more status tokens on it, or attach an alteration spell to it. If 3 or more tokens were removed, deal 1 damage to target unit and opponent controls. So allowing you to kind of like manipulate these tokens and alteration spells and allowing you to damage units. It's going to be an expansion card. I think this might work better with certain Phoenixborn than other, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Then you have Glaciate, alteration spell. This unit is considered exhausted, prevent all damage dealt to this unit from being received. So this freezes a unit. So not only does it exhaust it, but it also is going to make it so you can't hit it. You've covered it in ice, you can't hurt it back. Then you discard this at the end of the round. So if there's an aspect or something that is about to attack you, so about to be really nasty, you can glaciate that unit and make it so it's not going to hurt you. Then there's Clashing Tempers. This is an action spell that you have to discard. Choose 2 units you control. If you do, attach a Fire Adapticon alteration card and an Ice Adapticon alteration card to one. You do 1 to one and 1 to the other, which of course, I'll remind you, these are the fire and ice ones that come with the guy here. So you can put these on other units or put them on a unit that you kind of already have in play, which is really cool as well, being able to get those on different people. And I love this ally. This is the Ember Heart here. So it costs a lot of different resources to actually play. It costs like 3 dice to play it out. But when this unit comes into play, you may choose an alteration spell attached to an exhausted unit you control and attach it to this unit. So there's somebody who've already used this turn, you can throw them out there. Then alert, do not place exhaustion tokens on this unit as a result of countering. So you can just have the Ember Heart like holding the line, and basically like when guys are attacking you, then you can kind of do it, which really helps when trying to manipulate these different aspects, especially if aspects have, during the aspects, they're going to attack on certain sides. So if you're able to have your Ember Heart on the correct side when they're attacking you, you can have the Ember Heart countering back without exhausting itself, being able to take care of some of those aspects, then also being able to attack back at the end of the round. Maybe I was using this character to very much excess to hold the line, defend me, and then face attack the Frostwild Scourge at the end of the round with a ton of different alterations attached to it, so it's doing massive damage. And a recovery of 2 and 4 life, love it. Ember Heart is kind of like the tank you build up and get all the stuff on. Just hopefully it doesn't get auto-discarded by the ultimate. Then we have Jingle Forager here. This is super cute little squirrel. Forage, when this unit comes into play, search your draw pile. You may reveal an alteration spell without a Phoenixborn unique icon and place it in your hand. Shuffle your draw pile. This allows you to go and dig for those, the other couple alteration spells you have, because it's very important for the game. You can either glaciate people, or you can do Will to Survive, or you can do Wall Up. You can grab those out of the deck and be able to play those on your units. So that is the deck here, all about those alterations, and you can play it with any of those Phoenixborn to give you a crazy mix-up of a game. There's also a rules update and some errata cards here. So if you have a bunch of other stuff for Ashes, this will basically let you fix those cards if there's any errata on them. So it just comes with a few 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards that are updated for the game. So I really enjoyed Ashes, but it was always hard for me to get to the table, and I said that very much when I took a look at the Red Rains thing here. This allows you to play the game solo. It also allows you to play it cooperatively, so I'm not super competitive in Ashes. I haven't been able to keep up with every single thing for the game, but I have really enjoyed the cooperative mode for this game because it allows me to play more casually and be able to play it when there's no one else around. I love Ashes as far as like the meaningful decisions and thinkiness in the game, and this expansion adds even more like opportunity to play the game with a new Chimera that you face off against. I really enjoy the way that this comes together and just gives me another villain, so now I can face off against the corpse of Varos or whatever, or this Frostwild Scourge. I wish I could say the names easier, but I really do enjoy how this comes together. It's just fun to be able to play the game cooperatively when you have so many interesting, meaningful decisions. And I actually played this 2 players. When I had played this the first time when I reviewed it, I had really only played it solo, but now I have played 2 players and solo, and it's really enjoyable both ways. It's just when you're working with another person, trying to figure out those interesting, crunchy, meaningful turns and be like, okay, I'm going to take care of this thing that came out from the Chimera, and you're going to take care of that thing that came out for the Chimera, and trying to figure out how to mitigate all the things that are coming out in your face constantly as the game goes along, and working to do stuff. I also really enjoy the deck that comes with this. I think the alteration cards are a lot of fun. I think it's really enjoyable to build up those characters and hope that the Chimera doesn't just auto-kill a character, or else you're kind of gonna be in bad luck as you kind of built somebody up super strong. But it's cool to see how those different Phoenixborn work with the deck and change those alterations in different ways. I really like the Wildwind Scourge, or the Frostwild Scourge, and I love that there's so much flexibility in how complex you can make the game based on the one that you pick there. You can basically just give the bad guy more hit points, make it so there's more threats coming out. I really enjoy the fact that it's all about dealing with all the different aspect cards that come out. And as you kill the aspect cards, you're going to be slowly dealing damage, or you can ignore these a little bit and attack their face, but then you're going to have to deal these at some point, and they're going to continue to wreck them. Once again, the Frostwild Scourge is all about those vigor and stun tokens that are going to be coming out for this character. I enjoy this. I really enjoy my favorite game of all time. I say this over and over again. I don't know if I should talk about other games during a review, but I love Marvel Champions. I love the fact that you can play that solo, and it's cooperative, and like it always has these interesting decisions. Ashes has way more, like, as far as like crunchy decisions, and the order you do things in really matters. This behavior card that comes up just matters so much as like, okay, is he going to reveal this turn? Is he going to attack this turn? Do I have one more turn before this thing happens, or else it's going to wreck me? It's just very interesting and very thinky. It can hurt my head at sometimes, but I still really enjoy the game and the way it works, and the artwork is phenomenal. But yeah, if you're interested in Ashes Red Rains at all, or Ashes in general, if you've played it in the past, I would say come back and try out this cooperative stuff because it's been really enjoyable for me, and you might enjoy it as well. I'm giving this a 8. I think it was a lot of fun. I think it's fun to play, and I definitely am going to be looking out for all of the cooperative packs just because I really enjoy having more of these chimeras to face off against. And it's cool to add another deck to the collection, get another one of these chimeras to face off against. It's almost like a little self-contained thing where it's like, oh, I can try out the new bag and the new deck at the same time, or I can take the old deck, but then I also have the variety of having the 4 different Phoenixborn to play against a deck. There's so much variety in this game and so many meaningful decisions that I just really enjoy it. So yeah, that is Ashes Red Rains, the Frostwild Scourge. This has been Roy Cannaday, and I hope you're having a great day. Let me know below what your favorite Phoenixborn is. Is there one you're really playing a ton, or one you're crunching on? Or have you moved away from Ashes? Are you interested in getting back into it? And I'm not going to say that I'm going to play versus you in Ashes, because you'll probably crush me. But if we want to team up, that'd be a lot of fun. Anyway, I've been Roy Cannaday. See you next time.